This is an algebra video on squaring out brackets. The first thing to be clear about before you begin doing any calculations in this video is what do we mean by squaring? What is squaring? Well, squaring just means multiplying something by itself. For example, if I had 6 squared, what this really means is that I want to multiply 6 by 6. What is 6 by 6? Well, I can work it out by multiplication. And it's nice and straightforward because it's just a number. 6 by 6 is 36. We're going to be taking this same concept of squaring as multiplying something by itself and applying it now to brackets. So my first example is x plus 2 squared, and my instruction is to expand and simplify. And the instruction will be the same for all of the following examples. Okay, so first of all, what do we mean by x plus 2 squared? Well, like we just saw, squaring means multiplying something by itself. So if I'm squaring this bracket, I'm multiplying this bracket, x plus 2, by itself. So I can write it as x plus 2 multiplied by the exact same bracket, x plus 2. And now we're back to a familiar scenario of just expanding double brackets, multiplying, and then using like terms to finish up. Okay, so what should my next line look like? At this point, you might have a good idea of what to do. So pause the video, try and do it yourself, and then play and check if you're correct. So I'll split up the first bracket, so x, and then I'll multiply it by the second bracket. So x by x plus 2, and then the second term plus 2 by the second bracket, x plus 2. Okay, now I need to multiply. X by x is going to give me x squared. X by plus 2 is going to give me plus 2x. Plus 2 by x is going to give me plus 2x. And plus 2 by plus 2 will give plus 4. Notice how my two middle terms are identical, and this should happen every time when I'm squaring out a bracket. Okay, now I need to put my like terms together to finish up. Well, x squared will just go by itself. These two identical terms are obviously like terms. Plus 2x gives me plus 4x. And then I have my plus 4 at the end. And I'm done. Okay, so I've got the bracket 2x minus 3 being squared. I want to expand and simplify. First of all, what do I mean by squaring this bracket? Well, I mean that I'm multiplying 2x minus 3 by 2x minus 3. I'm multiplying the bracket by itself. Okay, again, pause the video here and then see can you get to the end yourself. And play and check if you're correct. So now we're going to split it up. So we'll have 2x by 2x minus 3 minus 3 by 2x minus 3. And now I need to multiply. So 2x by 2x is going to give me 4x squared. And 2x by minus 3, positive by a negative makes a negative. So that gives minus 6x. Minus 3 by 2x, negative by a positive gives a negative. I get minus 6x. And finally, minus by a minus gives a positive. And I write plus 9 at the end. And again, notice that same thing's after happening. These two middle terms are identical. Okay, finally, simplifying by putting our like terms together. What will my last line be? Well, 4x squared is no partner, so it's just left as 4x squared. Minus 6x. Again, if in doubt, have the calculator to hand. Minus 6. That's going to give me minus 12x. And then plus 9 at the end. Let's have a look at one last example. So this time 2a minus 3x squared. Okay, try and do this one yourself the whole way through if you can. Pause the video here. And then play and check and see if you're correct. And if you get stuck, play a little bit, just enough to prompt you and see how well you can do. Okay, so first of all, I'm squaring the bracket, so I'm multiplying it by itself. Next, I need to split that first bracket up and multiply each bit by the second bracket. And now we need to multiply it out. So 2a by 2a is going to give me 4a squared. 2a by minus 3x will give minus 6ax. Minus 3x by 2a will also give me minus 6ax. You might have written down minus 6xa here, but don't forget we try to write the variables in alphabetical order to make it easier to spot like terms later on. And finally, minus 3x by minus 3x. Don't forget a negative by a negative gives a positive. So this is plus 9x squared. Okay, looking for like terms. We notice again that those two middle terms are identical. This should happen every single time we square a set of brackets. So the 4a squared, nothing to go with it. It'll just stay as it is. Minus 6ax, minus 6ax. Don't forget now with the adding and subtracting, it's just the coefficients. If in doubt, use the calculator. Minus 6 is minus 12. And I must keep the coefficients ax at the end. And then plus 9x squared. That's the end of example 3. My brackets are all multiplied out. I don't have any remaining like terms to put together. There's no more that I can do. So this is what I get when I expand and simplify 2a minus 3x all squared.